Okay. I forgot to say, based on going back to Thursday night's stuff, there is one obvious thing that about men doing what women do, which is looking in a mirror. Shulchan Aruch says a man is not allowed to look in the mirror, right? But the Rabbi Akiva Eiger says already, that men are used to looking in the mirror, so then it's mutter, right? So that's an area where I think most men look in mirrors. So that's based on because men started looking in mirrors, right? So
it's a din in Shulchan Aruch. It's a din in Shulchan Aruch.
Not to look in a mirror.
Yeah.
In the Kuf Peveis.
So how we oiker it? Men are not look in the mirror, and what because Bisman is people do.
So we can look in mirrors.
That's the Bach, you said? That's the Bach?
No, that's not the Bach. This is Rabbi Akiva Eiger. Yeah, that's what Rabbi Akiva Eiger says. Although Pais can say you shouldn't rely on Rabbi Akiva Eiger.
So you look in the mirror to see if your tefillin's straight. Is that looking in the mirror?
Let's not.
Who says
not
that's
go down
allowed?
that road.
Who said that's allowed?
Achim, look what the Mishnah Berurah says about that one.
No, of course, everyone knows you're supposed to use your smartphone and the camera that faces you.
Okay, that's good for the guys with the smartphones. All right, great.
Jacob, what is the Lashon over there? Minig Burus or something? What does he say?
No, does he say that? I don't remember.
I think that's what it says, but looking at a mirror for throwing.
So Yaakov, it's funny because all seventh grade Rebbe's in Eretz Yisrael, that's what they give the boys for bar mitzvah presents.
What mirrors?
They give mirrors, all the Rebbe's, because they want to give the boy a present. They don't have any money, so at the beginning of the year, each Rebbe who has bar mitzvah boys buys a whole 20, 30 of them. That's what he gives for the boys. That's what they give by the bar mitzvah for the boys.
And it's cheaper than buying Sforim.
Yeah, they don't have Rebbe's don't have any money there. So.
It's a cheap present. What should I tell you?
I was once driving to the mountains with your father. We passed Middletown, and there's a hotel over there. It says mirrored ceilings. So I asked him, hey, is that mutter? He says, ask me after you're married. So Maisa Shahaya in one of our drives. Mutter.
Yeah.
Just in case you're trying to find yourself, I finally found myself. I looked in the mirror. I found who I am.
You got in touch with yourself. There you go. Okay. All right. So let's go. We make a siyum now. You got your lechaims ready. Siyum on the parak. Then we start the last parak of. Shetiglachas hanega. Right. That's we're on Samach Aleph Amud Aleph. So tonight's stuff is basically, so the end here we have an interesting clear about what's the pshat in the head and the shaving. Then the next parak, basically Amud Aleph and Amud Beis, tonight's stuff, and then Amud Aleph of tomorrow's stuff is what's the source that a guy doesn't become a nazir, and an eved can become a nazir. What's the difference? Is an eved a guy? Is an eved not a guy? We just had this in the Sefer Achinah that we learned before Mincha. But yeah, so that's basically tonight's stuff. So Shetiglachas hanega. So we said that you can only take a hair. It's an Issa Daraisa to shave for a nazir to shave, right? But there's also a mitzvah for a nazir who's a mitzayra or a nazir who became tamei to shave. So we say Esed Deichalaisa. The Mishnah says that's only a vadai tum or a vadai mitzayra that can shave. If he's not a vadai, you can't shave. which leads us to all these issues that he has to shave after 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, etc., etc. Right? So Gemara has a clear. So Hani Arba Tiglachi is the Gemara. There's these four shavings that we said, right? After day 30, 60, 90, and 120. Mishum mitzvah, is it a mitzvah or mishum avurei seyor matuma, or is it to remove tamei hair? Right? Is it a mitzvah to take off the specific mitzvah to take off this hair, or is this like tamei hair and it just has to be removed? Okay, lamai nafkamina. What's the difference? La avurei benasha. Can you do it with hair removal, like creams and waxing?
Debilatory.
And yeah. But lav dafka that, I think. I mean, you could do waxing. You could do meaning anything other than a razor. What's it called? What's the other one that they do with the fire? Laser hair removal. So can you do that or not? So if you say it's a mitzvah, then it's a mitzvah to dafka shave with the razor. So since it's a mitzvah to dafka shave with the razor, so therefore you have to shave with the razor. You can't just do hair removal. And if it's just to remove tamei hair, even to smear with, what you call it, depilatory.
Debilatory, yeah.
What?
Nair, Nair, Nair.
Nair, right? Yeah. So what's the halacha? So again, the shaila is if it's a mitzvah to use it with a razor, so you got to use a razor, right? But if it's not a mitzvah with a razor, I mean, if it's just to remove the hair, so who cares how you move the hair? Just make sure the hair is off, right? Meaning, is there something about a razor that you have to do here? So it says you have to take 4 shavings. If you say that the only reason that you have to do the shavings is to remove the tamei hair, so then really, meaning, so I should have pointed this out before, this really is only applicable to the third shaving, right? Because it's only totally in the Nazir tamei. The Metzaira is pretty much beferish that he has to use a tar. I think it says tar, right? Does it say tar? You think after all these days we should know this, right? Or I should know this. Right. The Metzaira has to be with that's beferish in the Metzaira. I don't know if it's beferish in the pasuk, or like we said, it's a beferish halach l'maish misina. I don't remember, but it's the first 2 are for Nazir. So right, the day 30, the day 60 shavings are for the Nazir. That vada needs a razor. The shaila is the other 2. That's because that's for Nazir tamei. So again, it's the Isa. So Tashema Magalech Arba Tiglachias. You have to do 4 shavings. Isa that the Mishuma Avurei Seir Tuma Afilu B'Shalosh Nami Sagile. Then it would even the 3rd would be enough. Shmamina Mishum Mitzvah. So it must be that it's for mitzvah. Meaning the reason why Nazir tamei has to shave is because he has to shave with a razor. Memela, it's Mishum Mitzvah, Shmamina. So therefore it's because of a mitzvah, and therefore you dafka have to use a razor. All right. Hadron Allah Shnei Nazirim, L'chaim. I have a little bit here. L'chaim. Yeah. One more parak. This is the last parak now. I think Thursday we finished, right? Thursday we finished.
Thursday night.
Thursday Bez Hashem. Okay. Yeah, I do want to maybe start obviously a voluntary thing. I was just thinking that it's a chaval that we don't have some sort of chazara, right? Yeah, I was thinking maybe to do Mishnah. Maybe once when we finish a parak, after that day's daf, we should just go over the Mishnayos quickly together. Why not? Or maybe that Shabbos, just a quick 5-10 minutes. It's a chaval that we don't just at least look at the Mishnah. I'm hoping maybe I'll remember Epis if I do the Mishnayos. Maybe I'll have Epis to focus on. Just a thought. So let the oilam chew it over over Pesach. Chew it.
Okay. Mulling it over. Yeah.
We'll do a Chazar Mishnayos on Shabbos with Zoom.
There you go. Or we make a separate time or whatever it is. Yeah, fine. Now the Olam has, before we start the parak, it says Hakusim. Does anybody have a different version in their Gemaras? No? Let me check my other Gemara. Check my older Gemara here. Because some Gemaras.
See,
Don't worry,
my
I checked
Gemara
it today.
my Gemara is 50 years old. The Gemara.
What do you have?
Kusim.
Kusim?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one has Kusim. Daniel Sontag's Gemara, which is a Oiz v'Hadar, whatever, fancy, newfangled, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
has Hagayim. What?
Dov Lubavitch also had Hagayim.
Taka? What brand Gemara he had?
I'm not so sure. I don't know. He's the Dirshu guy, so I don't know if he used the Masifta. I don't know if he used the Dirshu Gemara. I'm not so sure.
So this must be the old Gemara. So I don't know. Maybe it's a newfangled Gemara that has.
Looks like the Rush the Rush has a good side. They could cover them. It looks like.
Oh yeah, I didn't. That should have been a smart idea to look at the Rush. Yeah. Okay. What's that? Kusim. Which one means it's under the what do you call it? The censor. Kusim or Goyim? I thought Kusim is the nice way of saying it, no?
Yeah.
When it says Kusim, that means that's the censor, right? Goyim is uncensored. Right? Because Kusim, it just means that we're against one nation of the Kusim. Goyim means that we're anti all. Right? So, yeah. Okay, I don't know.
Is the
Okay,
Mefarish
like,
explaining it like that? Look at the Mefarish.
Yeah, he means exactly what the Mefarish is doing. The Mefarish is doing. Don't think it's only a din in Kusim, right? Kusim is a nation. The Kusim. If you read the Pasha of the Gemara, you think only Kusim can't become Nazirim. Now, there's no explanation for why only a Kusi should become a Nazir. It should not become a Nazir.
Censorship. They censored it.
Censored.
They did, yeah, but it could be self-censorship. Sometimes they did that because they didn't want to.
No, that could be. That's true. But the Mefarish is saying that it don't make a mistake. If the Mefarish saying no, it means Oivdei Kechavim. Which is interesting. The Gershon said that the Rosh says Oivdei Kechavim. Right? I mean, that's the din. Sometimes you have different dinim in halacha where they'll come and say that, like Lamashal with Yayin Nesech. So some say that Arabs don't have Yayin Nesech because they're not Oivdei Avodah Zarah. There's the only time, like you can't go into a church, but you can go into a mosque. Because Be'etzim, they're worshiping the same Hashem that we are. They're just going through a different son. Son meaning child, right? Of Avraham Avinu. But so there it could make a difference. But here, Al Nazir, it's a din in Goyim. It's not just a din in Kusim. Okay, so the Olam has Kusim, fine. So I guess some of the new Gemaras changed it. Fine. Okay, so anyway,
we should learn from Rafu Shalem, but Moshe Dai ben Devorah.
Moshe Dai, what's going on? What does that mean?
I just posted it on the chat. We should daven in surgery.
Surgery. Okay, I guess sometimes it's not good to not be on a chat. Right? Okay, well, Rafu Shalem. Fine. So Hakusim ain't lem Nazirus. So Kusim don't have Nazirus, right? Meaning a guy cannot become a Nazir. Yeah, Noshim v'Avadim Yeshem Nazirus. But
can they make a neder? Did we ever mention them with the Durham?
We're gonna see in the Gemara. We'll see in the Gemara.
Okay.
But yeah. Well. Yeah, so but Nashim and Avadim can become Nazirim. Chaymer ben Nashim and Avadim, but there's a Chumrah by Nashim from Avadim. Shehu Kaifa es Abdai. A man can force his slave, even though a slave became a Nazir, he could force him out of it. Right? Meaning the Nazir said, the Eved says, I'm a Nazir, I can't taste the wine. The guy tells him, taste the wine. You need to taste the wine. So the Eved is meshubed to his master, so this master could force him. But a wife, this is perfect for the week before Pesach. You cannot force your wife, right? You cannot force your wife to do anything, right? So, I mean, obviously he could be made for it. If he has 24 hours, he can be made for his wife's Naziris, right? But he can't. But he can't be Menadr. He can't. Once the 24 hours is passed, then he can't, right? But the Eved, it's interesting. So should the Eved, before he has to be, should he be Mater is Neder the Eved? Or is he just Meshubah to listen to his boss? Can he tell his boss, okay, listen, you want me to be over on my Nazirus? Let me go to a rabbi or an expert and let him be Mater my Nazirus at least. Right? Can he say that? Or no, he doesn't even have to do that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether that would be, I mean, obviously that would be the frummer way out of it. Right? But
I would imagine he should.
Is he mechuyev too? Or he could say, listen,
That's the question. Is he allowed to? I would say, is he allowed to? If the Avnei
so that's
says he
the
has
thing.
to do it. Yeah.
Now, what happens if his master says he has to go? So the Mefarish only talks about wine. So wine doesn't nix the Naziris anyways, like we discussed. What happens if he forces him to become Tamei Mace? Right? He said, listen, I need you to take care of this mace. So then what? Yeah. So, anyway, so I'm not sure. But I mean, we do learn out from this thing that a person is mechuyev to do. His boss comes first. That's the bottom line. Allah. We said this a few times. Ramosha writes in the Tshuva that if a person's working on a fast day and because he's fasting, he can't do his job properly, then he has to break his fast because his shibud is to his boss, right? Now, whether he's mechuyev to take a day off and a paid vacation, that already Ramosha doesn't discuss. But bottom line is, if you have your job, you have a shibud to your boss. Anyways, okay, so that's the Mishnah. Again, the Mishnah is saying that Goyim don't have Naziris, women and Avodim do. A man cannot force his wife to break her Naziris, but he could force his Evet to. Fine. So now the Gemara is going to ask for the source. So Zogding Gemara, Katani Akusim Ein Lam Naziris. Kusim don't have
Evet Ivri or Evet Kanani?
Kanani.
And Evet Ivri?
Well, L'chayra and Evet Ivri too, but I'm saying the Evet that the Mishnah is talking about is an Evet Kanani. L'chayra and Evet, I would say an Evet Ivri also. But in that prat, I would think an Evet Ivri also.
Well, you could have forced him. You could force him.
That's his job. His job is to do what his job is to do for his boss. But I'm not sure. I can't say for sure. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So Katani Kusim Ein Lahem Naziris. Kusim Goyim don't have Naziris. Right? There's an interesting, I don't know what the Mefarish means here. If you look in the Mefarish, it says Ein Chayavin ben Naziris. What does that mean? Right?
If they're over it, no?
So that means a guy could become a Nazir?
His
we don't
nether is
care.
a
Let
nether.
him become a Nazir.
It's not Naziris. It's a nether. He gets no punishment. He's not
well, that's
Naziris.
what we have to see. That's what David was asking, whether he's in the nether. So it's a kula. So it's a kula. That's what it's saying. He's not chayiv if he's over. But what about a nether? If he can make nedarim, then
he's nether. But he is not chayiv for it either.
I hear.
So he can't. What is that? What are we saying? That he can be a Nazir?
I mean, a guy could do whatever he wants, right? He could keep Shabbos. I mean, Machal Shabbos is Chayav Misa, but he could keep Shabbos. What are you going to do? You're not going to stop him.
So
but
I need the Gemara to tell me that
I need the
Gemara to tell me that he can do whatever he wants.
Well, the truth is that's essentially what the Gemara is saying, right? Meaning, what do you mean a guy can't become a Nazir? Who cares what a guy does?
No, I understand. So why is the Gemara telling us this?
So that's what it's saying. He's not going to be chayiv. Let's say he becomes
he's not going to be chayiv karbonos. Well, he's not going to be chayiv what?
Exactly. Yes, he's not going to be chayiv karbonos. That's what it's saying. You would think that he could become a Nazir, maybe he's chayav karbanas. I think that's what it's saying.
And a
Right?
guy can walk into the Beis Hamikdash and bring karbanos?
And the dove, yeah.
Yeah, well, we do take karbanos. We're gonna see over that. We're gonna see. I don't know if it's tonight's stuff, tomorrow's stuff, but we're gonna see that we do tomorrow. It's tonight's stuff on the base. We're gonna see that we do take karbanos from Goyim.
That's
Anyways,
the
okay,
okay,
so let's see.
line. That's the Ein Chayavin. He can bring in a dove.
Right.
But the carbon of a Nazir is a nether. A nether a guy cannot bring.
Now, I wasn't sure if he's chayiv on it. If he's chayiv on, I guess it's karbonos would be the nafkamina, right? It's or chayiv a punishment, whatever it is. Anyway, so Katana Yakusam Elam Naziris Minani Mili. How do we know? Katana Rabbanon Daber al Bnei Yisrael. Says speak to the Bnei Yisrael. So it says Bnei Yisrael, but lo yav dekavim means speak to Bnei Yisrael, but not to Goyim. Right? See, but now look at if you look, we got to get moving here. I got to do the ladies' Hilchos Pesach share in a half hour. But if you look at the Tosfos says Shem Kiblu Naziris Einoi Klum. Umutaron Lishtas B'Yayin V'Emavi and Karbanas Naziris Aleim. Right. So from the Mephirish, it sounds like they are a Nazir, but they're not Chayiv and Karbanas. The Tosfos seems to be saying no, it's meaningless. Right. So I don't know if that's a machlokes or not. Sounds like a machlokes, right? Okay, but anyway,
David, you can sell the guy a pastrami sandwich in the store. It's no problem.
Wine? How about wine? Wine.
Thank you. The store. We don't have sandwiches now. We don't have sandwiches now. We're kosher Pesach.
Okay, fine.
Herring and wine sauce.
I was just testing you.
Yeah. Anyway, so Daber al Bnei Yisrael v'lo yilav dekacham v'marta aleihem. And it says, and say to them, right? It says Isha. Anyway, so the rabbi says Avodim. Say to them means they're coming to include Avodim that they're allowed. So Lama Likra. Why do you need to say a pasuk that you need that Avodim are allowed to become Nazirim? Right? We know the rule with an Eved Kanani. Any mitzvah that a woman is required to do, Eved Chayeva, an Eved's Chayev to do, right? That's a rule throughout the whole Torah. Why do you need a pasuk to tell you that an Eved can become a Nazir? So Marava Shani Hacha. No, here's different. Makra le'esar isar al nafshoy. Right. So he's answering something on his nefesh. The misha nashe knuyeloi. That you would think is that it's when you're answering something onto yourself. That means that you own yourself. Yotza Eved she'ein nashe knuyeloi. His nefesh is not owned by him, meaning he doesn't own himself. So maybe just with a technical point, a technical reading of the pasuk, it sounds like an eved. Only somebody who owns his nefesh could become a nazir, not somebody who doesn't. Right? Since his nefesh is not clearly. So, anyways, that's by nod and neder. So you could say that maybe by Naziris also, he's not allowed to. Kamash Malon, so that's why the pasuk has to tell you, no, Avodim could become Nazirim. Right? So meaning we're saying that really he can't make Nadarim, right? But he could become, Eved could become a Nazir. Kamash Malon, right? That's what it's teaching us, that an Eved can become a Nazir. So Mar. So Mar said, right? Speak to Bnei Yisrael, not to Goyim. Yisrael, and anytime it says Yisrael, does this mean that Goyim not? Right? Anytime it says Yisrael, that means Bnei Yisrael. Does that mean that means only Yidden are included in this mitzvah, not Goyim? But Gabi Erchin, what about by Erchin? So Erchin is basically everybody has Erchin means a value. Everybody has a certain value. Men of a certain age have a value, women of a certain age have a value, et cetera, et cetera. So they all have their own values. So you can donate the value of yourself, of somebody else, and then that means you have to give a donation. Let's say you're worth $100, so you got to give $100. So by Erchin, Tichsiv Daber al Bnei Yisrael, it says speak to Bnei Yisrael. V'tanya Bnei Yisrael Marichin. Bnei Yisrael can be Marich, Ve'enav D'Kachavim Marichin, and Goyim can't. Right? So Yachal Layu Nerchin. So you would think that you can't, meaning the guy can't be the one to donate to the Beis Hamikdash. Meaning the guy wants to say, oh, I want to give a donation the worth of my Jewish friend over here, and whatever, I'll give it's $100 for his value, right? So maybe that's what that means. But a Yid can go to a guy and say, I want to give the value of this guy. Ish. So that's why it says ish, right? That therefore you could give the value of a man. I mean, you would have thought that a guy can't be the donor and he can't be donated on. So Kamashal, the word ish tells you that he can. So now by Nazir, it also says the lashon ish, right? So maybe he should be included under the name, under the umbrella of the word ish, right? A guy is an ish, so Mamela, he should be able to become a Nazir. So when I answer Shani Hacha, right? The Amar Kra la'aviv v'lima la yitama. He cannot become a Nazir, can't become Tameh to his mother or his father. The Misha Yesh Le'av. This is talking about somebody who has a father. It comes to exclude a guy who doesn't have a father. Now, this doesn't mean that he doesn't have a father. It just means, and we had this also today in the Sefer Chinuch, it just means that there's no fatherhood by a guy, from father to son. So Mamela, he can't possibly be included. So when it says Lamai. Right?
What does it mean?
What do
It
you mean
means halachic. I mean, there's no halachic father.
Correct. Yeah.
It doesn't apply to a guy. I mean,
yeah. Now the Gemara is going to discuss it, but that's what we're saying. So since it doesn't apply to a guy, so Mamela, he's not included in the whole Nazirus because by Nazir it says that he can't become Tameh to his father or to his mother. So it's mashma, his parents have a halachic.
Why can't we just say then? Why can't we just say that Nazir doesn't apply to a guy? Period.
What?
Why don't we just say that Nazir doesn't apply to a guy? Period.
No, so that's the kasha. That we're asking from the word ish. It's mashma that the guy should be included, just like the guy is included by ish for erchin. So he should be included by the ish for nazir.
Yeah, but there's no tamei by guy. There's no.
That we're going to get to. That's vital. That's vital, right? But right now the Gemara is just handling.
What's the Gemara assuming now? What's the Gemara assuming now?
That the reason why he would be potter from he can't become a nazir is because he doesn't have a halachic father. That's what the Gemara is assuming. He doesn't have a halachic father. So that's what the Gemara asks. Lamai. For what? In Yerusha. If you say you've been a gay to Yerusha, that a guy does not yashin his father, that can't be because of Amar Rav Chia bar Abba and Amar Rav Yochanan, Oived Kechavim, Yerush is David. Dvar Torah, Minat Torah, a son does yashin his father. Shenemar, Ki Yerusha le'esav nasati es har seir. Right, so I gave a Yerusha to Esav, to har seir. Right? Hello. So you see that there was a Yerusha for Esav. Right, that's true. Yeah, very good. Right? Hello. It has to be somebody who's muzar on being mechaber his father. Right? And a guy does not have a chiyuv in kibbut aveim.
A guy's so chiyuv on sheva mitzvah. That's it.
That's it.
No,
so
that's
why should he become a nazir?
You just brought Esav, and Esav is is who we use for an example.
Right,
Keep it up.
Correct. He had it. No, it's Rachman. It's a good point. What should I tell you? It's a good point, right? It's a voluntary thing, right?
We also had a Maisa. We had a Maisa.
Wait, what are you asking?
A guy who had a paraduma and wouldn't wake up his father. That was a guy.
That was also that was a guy. It was a guy. It was just Shalaikadin, really. Should have woken up his father.
What's he asking?
He's just saying a point. He's saying that we're saying that a guy doesn't have mitzvah kibbut avaim, and then we're quoting Esav that it's from Yerusha, that there is Yerusha, but then he's saying a mitzvah of kibbut avaim the goyim don't have, but we know from Esav that he had a lot of kibbut avaim.
Yeah, kibbut av, not kibbut av, kibbut av.
Whatever, same thing.
Guy.
What?
Why would you think of a guy?
Why? Who?
Why would you think of a guy?
Can't hear him. Anybody hear him?
Why was base of a guy?
A new Bluetooth.
He wasn't, but we're bringing a proof of kibbut
Saying
av from Esav.
he's not considered a yid, Esav, Naftali.
Why? I'm saying he's
That's what Rabbanan said. It's quite a matter Torah, dude. That's what you're saying.
Wow, look at him.
He's saying neither Yaakov Avinu wasn't a yid also.
What are you saying, David? You don't say anything? Anyways, okay, whatever it is, but he doesn't have kibbut av.
The
You
medrash.
you pull out just like you pull out a lechem shmisina. Whatever you need it, you pull it out.
No, you can't pull it. You can't pull it out everywhere. Lamaisa that I said with the guy with the kid who wouldn't wake his father up. That was after Montar. That was a
Yeah, but he's for sure a guy, that kid.
Right. So you see, there was some kibbut av, and you can't tie that before Montar. That was after Montar.
You can bring a proof for anything from anywhere. What's the big deal? So one guy
established this.
One guy had kibbut av the aim. Okay, good. So good.
We established this a few weeks ago. We haven't done Purim before Kabbalah's and Torah.
What? Dama ben Asina was in the days of the Gemara.
Right, but he what he called, but he was Shalai Kedin anyways. The Etzim, I think the Mefarshim there say he should have woken up his father.
That's what his father said also.
That's what I would say. No, you didn't wake me up. Yeah, for this you don't wake me up. Anyways, okay. But let's see. Weiter. Ella, Mimishim was al kibbut aviv. So the Gemara says, Miksiv, by the way, they do have to have kibbut av after they become gerim. Shulchan Aruch says they do have to show respect, because otherwise, again, what we had in Sefer Achinaf Da'ilam is going to say, look at that, he became a yid, and now he doesn't have kibbut av. Right? So, yeah. So
that has nothing to do with kibbut av. That has to do with Eva.
Whatever it is, but he has to be mechabed his doesn't say he has to be mechabed his siblings, he has to be mechabed his father.
It's not called kibbut av, is it?
I mean, does it go under the gather of the mitzvah of kibbut av? Okay, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. All right. So anyone says miksiv kabel.
Does he have to have surgery to put on a big nose?
Yeah, I think the bris surgery suffices. Yeah. So the Gemara says, okay, so miksiv kabel avicha gabi nazir. Like, what does being mechaber a father have to do with nazir? Meaning Bishlam before, when the Gemara says that he doesn't become tamei to his father, a nazir doesn't become tamei to his father and mother, so that means he has to have episode din of father and mother. But here, what are you saying? Because he doesn't have to respect his father and mother, therefore he can't become a nazir. What does one have to do with the other? Okay, Ella, as we know, anytime the Gemara says the word Ella, it's changing the pshat. Ella markra le'aviv le'imay lo yitama. To his father and his mother, he can't become tamei. Misha yesh le'tuma. Only somebody who could become tamei has a din of nazirus, because there you see there is a connection between becoming tamei and being a nazir. So only somebody who has a din tuma, right? On Tamid Beis now. A guy cannot become tamei. One of the more fascinating things, that a guy can't become tamei. Right? Minallah on the last tuma. How do you know a guy can't become tamei? Damakra. This is talking about the pasuk where somebody who's tamei cannot go into the Beis Hamikdash. So somebody who is tamei, right, and he did not, yischata means to become tahar. Another interesting quirk in teaching psukim, right? The poor kids that have to sit in school and try and figure this all out on tests, right? So v'lo yischata means he did not become tahar. That would be the last way I would teach v'lo yischata. Okay, v'nichrasa hanefesh shehi mitoch hakahol, and then you're going to get kares. So b'mishi yesh kahol, only somebody who has a kehila. Yotzazeh she'ein lo kahol comes to exclude this person who doesn't have the kehila, meaning kahol refers to Klal Yisrael. Now you could take a mussar from this, that those guys that don't have a kehila and they bounce around from shul to shul, right? And nobody knows them, and they wonder why nobody takes care of them, and nobody's concerned for them, is because they don't have a kahila. You're not part of the klal. If you don't have a kahila, you're not part of the klal. It could be a Zoom kahila. It could be different kahilas, but you got to be part of something, right? Okay, that's the musa.
So if he
Yeah,
can't
the
become
Muslim.
Tame, so that means he's Tahar?
So since he can't become Tameh, so therefore he can't be included in the Nazirus.
Well, we have a
Correct,
lot of
but
we have a lot of drushes. Kahal Gerim, below Kahal Yisrael, Kahal Ger. You have
Correct.
Kahal. You do have Kahal.
There are different kahilas, yeah, but the pashtus is, but the pashtus is here. The pashtus is kahila normally means kahila of Yisrael. So a guy is not part of kahila, therefore he can't become Tameh.
But I'm saying
Yeah.
if a guy can't become Tame, that means the Goyim are there, so they're Tahar.
Yes, they're tall. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a fascinating thing. But on the other hand, when you buy a kli from a guy, you got to toivel it. Why? Because they're tamei, and
They're
you're
not Tame.
upgrading.
We just
to
said they're
tahara.
not Tame.
That's what I'm saying. But for tvilas kalim, we look at them like they are tamei, and that's why that's another fascinating thing. If you borrow a kli from a guy, you don't have to toivel it. It's only if you purchase it. But that's pshat because you're upgrading it in kedusha. So maybe he doesn't really have tumah. You're upgrading the kedusha of it. So mamela needs tefillah. Okay, but if you're borrowing
I think
it,
a guy is tummy. A guy is tummy. He just doesn't have a shaykhus to tumas.
no, we have a gezerah derabbanan. We have a gezerah derabbanan. Every guy is a tamei zav, right? That we have in the one of the Yuchas gezerahs.
Because that they have.
But that's
So
gezerah
tumah, they're
derabbanan.
shaykh.
It's gezerah derabbanan.
But that's only because they have shaykhus to tumas zav. They have no shaykhus to tumas mace. That's all.
Right.
It's just tumas mace. They can't. They are tummy. They just can't become tummy mace.
When the Gemara talks about Tevila's Gerim, and talks about that a woman has to be toivel, they use the lashon so they just have to have something, but it's not because to be matar them. It's just the man nechlis tachas kanfei shchina. So it's not that the tefillah there is not to be matar or from a tumah that she had before. It's so maybe it's still taharas. They're still tahar. That's by tefillah's gerim.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's true. So now, I mean, the Gemara is going to get to more fascinating thing right now that comes out. It comes out very interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe the pasuk when it says he's not part of the kahal, so it means he doesn't have chorus if he goes into the base of mikdash, but he does become tameh, right? So that means it would be more makel than a yid. A yid would get. I'm sorry, I said not to become. It doesn't be chorus, meaning he becomes tameh, but he won't get chorus if he goes into the base of mikdash. So makros, and when it says no, v'hiza hatahar ala tameh, the tar is sprinkled. Right, the Ephra para from the para duma on the tummy. Kol sheyesh li tahara yesh li tuma. Anybody who has tahara has tuma. V'chol she'ein lo tahara ein lo tuma. If somebody can't become tahar, then he doesn't become tummy in the first place. Right? Meaning, so by the Torah is saying that somebody who's tummy mace can only be sprinkled by a yid, for a yid, whatever it is, right? So Mamela, a guy can't become, a guy who doesn't have Tahara, Mamela, he can't become Tameh, right? So it's fascinating that since he can't become Tahar, therefore he's not Tameh, right? A yid who could become Tahar, therefore he becomes Tameh. It's almost like a get out of jail free card. You can't become Tahar, so Mamela, you're not going to become Tameh. Right? Okay, that's it's fascinating havamina. Yeah. Okay, so
imagine for a yid. Imagine for a yid if the Eibishter doesn't give even a guy something he can't get out of. Kal v'chaymer b'leibishal b'neishel kal v'chaymer yid. The Eibishter will always give a yid a way out.
It's a machlokes. It's a machlokes, but you have the Chazaynish and Reb Tzaddik. So don't.
What are you talking about? Whether you're talking about whether give a Rabban Shem will give a Nisayan? That's what you're talking about.
That's what he said, Gershon.
No, he's not saying Nisayan. He's saying to get him out. He's saying to get it out. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, the aim tahara hu delay havile. But okay, maybe he doesn't have tahara, but tuma havile. But meaning, I'm sorry, I read it wrong. The aim of tahara hu. Why don't you say that he doesn't have tahara, but tuma havile? But he does have tuma. Meaning, who says that you have to say because he doesn't have tahara, he doesn't have tuma? No, maybe he never gets them. Maybe he's tummy forever, right? Amakra. So the pasuk says, "Ve'isha sheyitma v'lo yischata." A person who becomes tummy and he will not become tar, right? So therefore, it's you see that there's tame and then there is tar. It's connected to each other, right? So memela, since they don't become tar, they can't become tame either, right? Which is it's just a repeat, sort of. Yeah, fine. Okay, so bottom line is what the Gemara is saying right now, according to this opinion, the Gemara is saying that the reason why a guy cannot become a Nazir is because he doesn't have tumah. For however reason he doesn't have tumah, therefore a guy can't become a Nazir. Fine. Rav Acha Bar Yaakov goes back. He's going back and he's saying, Rav Yaakov Mashani Hacha here is different. Meaning Erchin is different than Nazir. Again, we were trying to bring what's the whole kasha. By Erchin it says Ish. And therefore a guy is included at least partially in Erchin. So therefore it says Ish by Nazir, so a guy should also be included. Right, that was the kasha. So Rabbi Yaakov was saying, no, Shani Hacha, Nazir is different. Amakra is Nachalta Masim Levnechem Acharechem. And you're going to give on a Yerusha to the kids. Kol sheyesh le'nachal yesh le'tuma. Anything that has inheritance, right? And what's included in inheritance? Avodim. Has tuma. Anything that doesn't have inheritance doesn't have tuma, right? Meaning, when the Torah says that a son does a goyish son yarshins from his father, so he could be a nazir, right? But meaning you have to be able to yarshin everything, and slaves, right? Slaves cannot, but slaves, a guy cannot yarshin a slave, right? So Mamela, he's not included in all dinim of Yerusha. So since he's not included in all dinim of Yerusha, meaning we had said that, oh, you mean the guy is in Yerusha? So Rabbi was saying, no, he's not. He's not in the full dinim of Yerusha because a guy who has a slave does not yarshin it to his son. So when it says, if that's the case, avodim namiloi. So avodim also shouldn't become nazirim because they don't yarshin for sure not, right? Okay, so we slug that up. So Elo Amarava. So Rava says different shot. Bishlam Magabi Erchin. So it's good when it says by Erchin. Again, Erchin says the word ish. So since it says the word ish by Erchin, so therefore it tells us that he's included at least partially in Erchin. So it says ish by Nazir too. So Rava is saying Bishlam Magabi Erchin should never Bnei Yisrael. Right? Bnei Yisrael Marichin, Bein Avdikachavim Marichin. The Bnei Yisrael can do Erchin, but the Goyim can't do Erchin. Yochal lo yun Erchin. So you might think that he can't become the subject of Erchin, meaning you can't go say, I'm going to give the value of this guy to the Beis HaMikdash. Tamiloimer Ish. It says Ish. Right? So then Hachanami, Yisrael Nazirin, Umavian Karban. So too, the Bnei Yisrael, right, can become a Nazir and bring the karbanos. And Goyim can't bring carbon. Yochel afla yu nazirin klal. So you would think, okay, so that means that they can't become nazirim at all. Ish. So therefore, the ish is telling you that he could become a nazir. He just doesn't bring the karbanos, right? So meaning what Rav is saying is that you would think that maybe a guy would be included in Nazirus, but not in the Karbanas. He could become a Nazir, but he can't bring Karbanas. And that's what Ish is telling you. Kamash Malon that it's not. So the Gemara says, Amri, if that's the case, Imishum Karban, if the whole thing is that the guy is not included in Karban, we don't learn it out from this. Elamei Hasam, we learn it from over there because it says La'oila, Pratlin Nazirus. It says that when you have to bring an oila, right? Right. So the word oila is coming to be mayit. Prat Nazir is coming to exclude Nazirus. That means that goyim could bring an oila because it says ish and includes goyim, but it's excluding the oila. When it says oila, I'm not sure exactly why oila sounds like it's excluding, but that's what the Gemara is saying. That oila is an exclusion. So what's an exclusion? Prat Nazirus to Rabbi Yosef Glili. So that's what Rabbi Yosef Glili is saying. So therefore, we're saying that it's not that ish is not going to come to exclude goyim from bringing Nazirus karbonis, because it's going to be from that we'll know from the pasuk of Olam. So Ema Bnei Yisrael Nazir Nazirus Olam. So let's say no. What it means is that Bnei Yisrael can become Nazirim forever. Bein Oivdei Kechavim Nazir Nazirus Olam, but Oivdei Kechavim cannot become Nazirim forever. Yachal Layu Nazirim, but you might think they might not become Nazirim at all. Ish. That's what it tells you ish, that they could become a regular Nazir, right? But not that they can't become Nazir La'olam. Right? So Mamela, that's a kasha on Rava.
So that means
it's not shot that they think that they're
So that means if they would become a Nazir for 30 days, we would accept that that would be somehow acceptable. But if they would say I'm a Nazir Olam, that would not be acceptable.
That's what the Gemara thinks, that's what the word ish is coming to tell you. Yes. So the Gemara says, but that can't be either. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Miksiv Nazir Olam. Where does it say Nazir Olam? Right? Doesn't say right, because the Mepharish says we know Nazir Olam from way back at the beginning of Masechta from Avshalom. Right, Avshalom that we're saying became a Nazir. It doesn't say anything in the Torah about becoming a Nazir 30 days, Nazir Olam, whatever. Ema. So we say no. Bnei Yisrael Madirin Bnei and Ben Nazir. Bnei Yisrael can become, their kids can become Nazir. Ve'ein Avdei Kechavim Madirin Bnei and Ben Nazir. Avdei Kechavim cannot make their kids Nazir. Remember we said that also. I don't know how long ago, a month ago, that a man can make his kid into a Nazir. Right, now the kid can refuse it, but he can make his kid a Nazir. Maybe a guy can't. So you might think that they can't become Nazirim at all time. Ish. So that's why Ish is telling you then that he could become a Nazir, which again would slug up Rava. Again, Rava was trying to say from the word Ish, that the word Ish is coming to tell you that he can't become a Nazir. However he learned it, right? We're saying now, but we could say we can rig it that no, there's different types of Nazirim. So here, meaning he's going to exclude it from a guy making his kid into a Nazir, but he himself can become a Nazir. So the Gemara says, no, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, halacha it's halacha l'Moshe b'Sinai, the Nazir that so that he could make his kid. Right? Now what does that mean? That he can make, it's halacha l'Moshe b'Sinai that a father can make his kid into a Nazir. Right? So Mamela, halacha l'Moshe b'Sinai is not going to be about a guy. It's going to only be about a yid. That's the way Tyson says it. Right? So therefore with Ravas is back. So Ema, it's very hard. This Gemara continues on for another amud. So I'm trying to figure out a place where to stop.
Yaakov, take 2 minutes. You need a break before the next year.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where to stop.
Don't worry, I set up the waiting room, so.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, okay. It goes by to see. You're right, Aaron. I'll take your 8. We'll stop over here. We'll have to go back a few lines to re. It's drushes. So if it's confusing, if you're as confused as I am, then we're all on the same page, right? With what exactly had a darshan over here. But okay, I'll try and clarify it a little bit tomorrow, whatever it is. Fine. All right. The Olam should have themselves a good tvach. And you're welcome.
Selling matzah.
Stay tuned.
Are you selling chametz tomorrow? Are you selling
around?
chametz? So I'll be around. I mean, it's